Hello everyone, welcome to Project Ace. I don't know what this will be yet, but I am going to be talking about my passion, which is card games. It's going to be the main focus of this, whatever this becomes, and hopefully we'll be able to have a good chat. This is the first series that I want to start, which is fixing white for Commander. Of course, if you're watching this video, you know what is Magic the Gathering, you know what is Commander, and this is what we are going to be talking about. I'm not going to explain much of it, but basically the idea is that white is in a high disadvantage in comparison to the other colors in Commander. Wizards has been trying to fix it in the last few years, and a lot of people have been tackling this issue, but I want to try my few ideas on it with everyone as well. Basically, there are a few things that you should know about this series. Number one, I will be making powerful cards. That's one of the things I want. I generally think that white deserves more powerful cards that aren't sweepers. You could argue about that one too. I will be making weird cards. I want to reach into aspects of the game that no color ever interacted with. I will, with that, number three, be breaking the color identity a little bit. I think that white needs just more stuff. More, specifically unique stuff. Stuff that no other color does, or at least stuff that it can do better than other colors. And four, I will not be thinking of 1v1. Sure, I can try to make these cards be good in scaling into multiplayer, but I think it would be stifling to my creativity if I tried to think about 1v1 a lot, since Commander is my main and favorite format, and as of now the only one that I actively play. I believe that's it, and wish me luck. Let's go. So, with the first episode of the series, we are going to be talking about a few mono white commanders I designed. First one we're going to be talking about today is Lisi, Crowd Charmer. This is a very wonky, weird card. First, let's go. It's 2 generic and 1 white for a 2/3 legendary creature, Demon Shaman. Yes, I made a mono white demon. I thought it could be interesting. I don't know, weird typing, who knows. Anyways, Lisi's text reads, at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay XX white. If you do, untap X, target creatures target opponent controls. They can attack alongside your creatures this turn, and their controller chooses how they attack and assign damage. This is a weird mechanic, of course, but the idea with this is white wants a lot of creatures to attack, right? White wants many creatures attacking. White is a color that cares about the group. But what if you could expand the group? What if you could invite other players to join your army, even if just temporarily? This, of course, would only really work in multiplayer, and when it comes down to 1v1, this card is really useless, because the idea here is that they can attack alongside your creatures this time. So if you use it on an opponent's creature, well, if he's the only player, that doesn't really matter much, right? Yeah, so basically that's the idea. You could have a player with a bigger board with a winning position, and you alone cannot deal with them. But if there is a second player who also has a medium-sized board, they could attack alongside with you, which means that together maybe you could defeat this bigger threat. And also, I think it's very flavorful. So come on, everyone, join in the fun. The next commander we're going to talk about, it's Tarum, Priest of Luminous. He's 2 white, white, white for a legendary creature human cleric, a 2/5, and he reads: permanents you control can't be the target of spells or abilities controlled by opponents with more cards in hand than you. This is a very neat protection, I believe, because it's dependent on people having more cards than you, but in white, that's gonna be most of the time, am I right? So it is a conditional protection, and then there's another line of text that reads: whenever another creature you control would die or be put into exile, you may return it to your hand instead. So he doesn't protect himself with this one, which is the real only drawback. But think about how many other uh, commandos in Magic have powerful abilities. Why couldn't White have one? Every once in a while too. I think this is a fair card for the most part. If someone blows up your board, they're really only going to blow up Tarum. And if they want to target Tarum to remove him, they would need to have less cards or equal with you. So I believe it to be a fair card, which is kind of a signature thing in white for some reason. But it's still very powerful. It still has uh, it has two kinds of protection if you think about it. It's targeted protection and board wipe protection. Something that, let's be honest, green has in one card, which is heroic intervention. So it would be fair enough for white to have something like that. Heroic intervention gives all your permanents hexproof and indestructible. This is still not as good as that, even though it is on command zone. But come on, it's mono white. The next commando we're going to talk about is Bordeaux Reality Banda. That is another very weird one. So Bordeaux is X and a white for a 2/2 legendary creature human spell shaper. Bordeaux comes into play with X reality counters +1, and he has an activated ability that reads X white white and tap him to exile target spell or non-land permanent, and move X of Bordeaux's reality counters to it. Its owner may cast it at any time they could cast a sorcery by paying an additional 1 for each reality counter on it, and this X can't be 0. So, this is one of those times where I'm trying to create something that has never really actually existed in Magic, which is a white counter spell stick. There are a lot of creatures in blue that exile, not exile, that counter spells, right? So I thought this would be a cool one. It doesn't have haste, X can't be 0, so if he doesn't have any counters on him, the idea is that you wouldn't be able to counter anything, so it is limited. I made the X reality counters +1 clause because if you want to cast him on turn 1, he would still enter with 1 counter. And if you had to pay command attacks, and you pay 3 mana for a 2/2 that can counter 1 spell or exile 1 permanent, but they can cast it again.
The thing is, if you use this on a counter spell, for example, they couldn't recast it at that same moment. So it is a weird card. Maybe it's a bit unbalanced. I don't know. Tell me in the comments, I think. And the last one we're going to talk about today is another commander with what I believe to be a very wide ability, which is Ulrich Edsgar Wars card. He's 2 generic and 2 white for a legendary creature human wizard, a 1/4. The idea behind this guy is that he uh, is an old veteran of war, and he doesn't want to lose anyone else ever again. So that's the flavor idea behind it, which I believe to be a very wide thing. So that's why his flavor text reads, I won't lose anyone else. So Auric reads Flesh. When Auric enters the battlefield, exile all creature cards in your graveyard that were put there this turn. And you may cast cards you own in exile. So, you may have noticed a theme with Auric and with Bordeaux, which I believe to be one of the things that white could have a bigger relevance than other colors, which is the exile zone. Very few cards in Magic actually interact with the exile zone, so I believe it would be an interesting space of design for whites. Auric is pretty much Ghana, the Rakdos commander, but with the caveat that he saves your guys if he is still there. You may cast cards you own in exile as an ability of Auric. So if they take Auric out, you lose access to those cards you just exiled. He's not, in my opinion, a broken card, but it is a card with potential. It is a card that is strong, which is, as I said, what I want for white. So that's it for today's ideas, I believe. I'm still trying this out. I'm new to this. I'm sorry if you can hear the fan running on the background. It's just really, really fucking warm in my bedroom, and I need this to not melt here. So, anyways, tell me in the comments what you think of the cards. What do you think of these ideas? Do you have any ideas, any recommendations of stuff with to do with white to make it better in Commander? Well, thank you all very much. Don't forget to like if you liked the video and subscribe if you really, really like the video. But only if you want to. Peace out.